Hey everyone, it's Riley. Thanks for coming back and watching another episode of my first year on T. This week we're talking about LGBT communities in the places that we live. I wanted to talk about the communities where I live, as well as the community that I've been living in the past year and a half. Right now I'm living in Kansas City in the United States. That's where I'm originally from. But I was traveling abroad recently, living in Melbourne, Australia. I have only been living in Kansas for, I think, less than 3 months since I got back. And before I left, I wasn't involved in any transgender spaces because I wasn't identifying that way. Most recently, I became involved with 2 transgender groups here in Kansas. One is called the Union, and that one is for trans men in the area, and they meet once a month. It's a super secret group, so you have to be added into it. It's a Facebook group, and then it just meets once a month in this guy's basement, and they talk about educational topics. I've only gone to 1 meeting so far, but it's mostly just social, hang out, and meet people. It's not too educational, although they do have a topic. I have only been to 1 meeting though, so I don't know exactly what goes on, but it's an amazing resource, and I think it's only been around for maybe 5 years. They also have started an LGBT Center in Kansas City, and they do all kinds of services. I think it's fairly new because I hadn't heard of it before I went abroad. I went to one of their transgender social meetings, and that's trans men and trans women. I'm glad to see that we have some services here in Kansas City. Prior to that, I only attended LGBT spaces at my university, which was the University of Kansas, and going to gay bars and going to Pride once a year. But the LGBT scene isn't really big in Kansas because we're just kind of stuck right here in the Midwest, and it's a small town, small area. But I think it's pretty good for what we have going on, and there's plenty of great resources out there for people here. I was living abroad in Melbourne, very involved with the trans spaces there. They have a group called Transgender Victoria, and also the Shed. The Shed is trans men that are meeting together once a month. They also have social meetings, sometimes a picnic. They go on camping trips. It's a really great place. I met some great people in the Shed while I was there. It's being run by some fabulous members, and they do more of an educational get together sometimes. Sometimes they'll have a presenter, like one time they had someone come in and talk about top surgery. Also recently, about 2.5 years ago, I was living right outside of New Orleans in a town called Lafayette, and they had the Louisiana Trans Advocates. So they had, I think, 5 different cities in the state of Louisiana that had meetings once a month for trans men and trans women. It was for both. And that was more just kind of like a support group. We would kind of sit around in a circle. Everyone would have a chance to share if they wanted, or they could pass. And then what I really loved is afterwards we would always go do something, like go get dinner, or maybe go get drinks, or attend an event together. That was a really great place, and I met some really good friends at that group. So pretty much everywhere I've been going recently, I've been involved with groups, and for the most part they've been really positive. It takes a lot of courage to go into these places, whether you're trans, whether you're lesbian, bisexual, whatever it is. And if you are a member of this group and someone new comes in, it's very important to go out of your way to make them feel welcome, because you don't know how much anxiety they'd been going through to go there. I know in the Shed Facebook group, there's always trans guys posting saying, I really want to go to a meeting, but I'm too scared. So they're trying to build up the courage. So just make a point to talk to new faces when you're there, especially if you're already comfortable in the space, and try to connect with people afterwards. It's great to meet up once a month, but I've really gotten more out of getting to know people outside of the group. I would say definitely try to get out there and get involved with these groups. It can really help build your self-confidence. You get to meet people, network, you can answer your questions. Of course, online spaces are great, but for me at least, face-to-face interaction is so much better. And even if you have to drive a couple hours in, just try it. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I'm kind of rambling all over the place. But thank you for watching, and please subscribe. We are so close to 100 subscribers, and I will catch you all next week. Bye. Bye, YouTube. Are you camera shy?